Academies have always been a contested topic in Major League Soccer. Do they work in the North American model of the game? Do they successfully allow players to develop? And do they help the development of players so that they can perform for the national teams of these countries at an international level? The Toronto FC Academy is no exception in that it has been criticized in its usage of developing players for Toronto FC throughout its history. However, recently, with an influx of players from the academy making more regular appearances for the first team, and with academy players across the league getting more opportunities on first teams in MLS, it seems like a turning point has been reached with the North American Soccer Academy. Throughout its history, Toronto FC has had 29 academy graduates who have been signed to first team contracts. Today, I'm going to be looking at all 29 of these players and giving a brief recap on where they have been now to help us look at how successful the Toronto FC Academy has been in developing players who have gone on to play not only for Toronto FC, but also for the Canadian national team. For simplicity, instead of ordering these players by what order they were signed to first team TFC contracts, I'm sorting them by their year of birth. So the earliest Toronto FC Academy graduates were born in 1991, the first of those being Ashton Morgan. Ashton Morgan was one of the first and the longest lasting Toronto FC Academy graduate. He signed with the first team in 2010 and by 2019 had made 168 appearances for the Toronto FC first team in all competitions. That is a record amongst academy graduates for Toronto FC. However, following the 2020 season, he left Toronto FC as a free agent as he had found himself more and more out of the first team in the last few years. And in 2020, he signed with Real Salt Lake, also in MLS. However, they did not play him in 2020. However, he's still there in 2021, and this year he made his first appearance for Real Salt Lake in Major League Soccer. In addition to his long MLS career, Morgan has made 18 appearances for the Canadian national team, the last one coming in 2020. The second 1991-born Toronto FC Academy graduate was Amadou Senyang. Senyang played 22 games for TFC between 2009 and 2010, followed that up with 1 game for the Seattle Sounders in 2011. And after that, he dropped out of MLS, playing 71 games in USL between 2012 and 2016, split between the Charleston Battery and Seattle Sounders 2. And then his competitive soccer record online ends in 2016. Moving on to graduates born in 1992. First we have Nicholas Lindsay. Lindsay played 9 games for Toronto FC between 2010 and 2012, and then between 2013 and 16 split time in the Canadian Soccer League between Burlington Soccer Club, Toronto Croatia, and the York Region Shooters. Orlando Matheson is one of the more interesting graduates of the TFC Academy in terms of his competitive record. He played 1 game for Toronto FC in the 2010 Canadian Championship before going to the University of Connecticut between 2011 and 2015 and playing for the Huskies. Following that, in 2015, he played 3 games for Harbourview FC in the Jamaican Premier League, and then he returned to Canada for 2016 and 2017, playing for Masters Football in League One Ontario. In 2017, he moved to Australia, where up until 2019, he played for the KC Comets in a regional 4th tier in Australia, so overall a 5th tier Australian league, and since 2019 he's played for Malvern City FC in that same league. So from TFC to college to Jamaica to League One Ontario and then to 5th tier in Australia. That is a well-traveled man right there. And last from the 92 class is Matt Stinson. Stinson played 25 games for Toronto FC in 2011 and 2012. Before, in 2013, going to York University, where he played for the 2013, 14, and 15 campaigns. Also during that time, in 2014, he started playing for the Vaughan Azzurri in League One Ontario, where he played until the 2016 season. And following his graduation from York University in 2015, he became the assistant coach of the York Lions men's football team. In addition, Stinson had 1 appearance for the Canadian men's national team in 2013. Now born in 1993, first off, Mohamed Babouli. If you watch this channel, then you know I've already made a whole video on Mo Babouli's career. It's probably the most interesting one you have ever seen of a competitive footballer, but the TLDR version is after playing 20 games at Toronto FC in 2016, he was very well traveled, having played in League One Ontario, the Syrian Premier League, the Canadian Soccer League, indoor soccer for the Mississauga Metro Stars in the Major Arena Soccer League, and now plays for Forge FC Hamilton in the Canadian Premier League. Oscar Corden played 8 games for Toronto FC between 2010 and 2011. After that, he has bounced around the lower tiers of Canadian soccer, playing for Brampton United Soccer Club, Serbian White Eagles, and Toronto Croatia in the Canadian Soccer League, and the Woodbridge Strikers in League One Ontario. Daniil Henry, probably the most successful Toronto FC Academy graduate. Henry played 93 games for Toronto FC between 2010 and 2014. That is second all-time by games played for an Academy graduate for the Toronto FC first team. He was sold to but never played for Apollon Limassol in the Cypriot First League, and then moved to West Ham for the 2015 season, where he only made 1 appearance in a Europa League qualifying match. Much of his time in Europe was spent bouncing between loans, where between 2014 and 16, well, with West Ham, he was loaned out to the Blackburn Rovers in the Championship at multiple points, but only ended up making 4 appearances in the Championship for Blackburn. And then in 2016-17, he signed with AC Horsens in the Danish Superliga, again making just 4 appearances. So after several years in Europe where he was unable to get any significant playtime, in the 2018 year he moved back to MLS to the Vancouver Whitecaps, where he made 42 appearances in 2018 and 2019, and following the 2019 season, he moved to South Korea, where he currently plays for the Suwon Samsung Blue Wings. Henry has also made 31 appearances for the Canadian national team, which is a record for a Toronto FC Academy graduate. However, the last has not come since 2019. Next up is Keith Makayuba. Makayuba played 2 games for Toronto FC between 2011 and 2012, and then from 2013 to 15 he played for Niagara United in the Canadian Soccer League, where his professional soccer record ends. Next up, the graduates born in 1994. Now, you'll notice a pattern with these guys. It's a lot of guys who were signed right when Toronto FC was opening TFC 2, and so a lot of these guys were signed to first team contracts, ended up going to TFC 2, not really playing much for the TFC first team, and a lot of them actually now, funnily enough, are in the Canadian Premier League. First up, Sergio Camargo. Camargo was signed to the TFC first team in 2017, but did not make an appearance for Toronto FC. In 2018, he was part of the Calgary Foothills team that won the Professional Development League based in the United States, which is now USL2, and was part of the group of players from that team that transitioned in 2019 to Cavalry FC in the Canadian Premier League, where he currently plays. He is also currently the co-host of the YouTube channel Can Profiles, where him and Nico Giansopoulos vlog their experiences as professional Canadian footballers. Jay Chapman is one that we should all know, as he was a regular in the TFC squad between 2015 and 2019, racking up 88 appearances. However, in 2019 he was signed by new expansion side Inter Miami CF, where he currently plays. He also has made 3 appearances for the Canadian national team, the last coming in 2020. Chris Manella signed a TFC first team contract in 2015, but did not play for the TFC first team, instead spending 2 years on loan with TFC 2. In 2017 he played for the Vaughan Azzurri in League One Ontario before moving to the Ottawa Fury for the 2018 and 2019 campaigns. Following the folding of the Ottawa Fury, he moved to York 9 in the CPL for the 2020 season, and for the upcoming 2021 CPL campaign, he is back in Ottawa playing for Atletico Ottawa. He also made 3 appearances for the Canadian national team back in 2015. Quillian Roberts was TFC's 3rd choice keeper between 2013 and 2016, and unfortunately did not make any appearances for the TFC first team in that time span. In 2017, he played for the Woodbridge Strikers in League One Ontario, and also at York University for the York Lions. In 2018, he signed with LAFC, where he was their 3rd choice keeper for the season, and again did not make any MLS appearances, before in 2019 joining Forge FC in the CPL. Following the 2019 season, he left Forge FC and has not made a recorded professional appearance since then. However, he did make 3 appearances for the Guyana national team in the 2019 Gold Cup. Moving on to players born in 1995. First off, another CPL standout, Manny Apariccio. Apariccio was signed to a TFC first team contract between 2013 and 2015, however he never made an appearance for Toronto FC. Between 2016 and 2018, he bounced around the Spanish 3rd and 4th divisions before signing with York 9 for the 2019 CPL season. He spent the 2019 and 2020 seasons with York 9 before signing with Pacific FC for the 2021 CPL season. He also made a single Canadian national team appearance back in 2014. Raheem Edwards is a rare man on this list because he is a guy who has found consistent playtime in MLS beyond Toronto FC. Edwards played 27 games for Toronto FC between the 2016 and 2017 seasons, but then in the 2017 offseason, he was selected by LAFC in the expansion draft. Following that draft, he was traded to Montreal in a package deal in return for Laurent Simon. Edwards played 14 games for the Impact before being traded mid-season in 2018 to the Chicago Fire. Over the following season and a half, he played 19 games for the Fire prior to the 2020 season being traded to Minnesota United. Last year, he played 15 times for Minnesota, and then in the offseason was let go, where he was picked up by LAFC in the MLS re-entry draft, where he currently plays. Edwards has made 4 appearances for the Canadian national team, the last coming in 2018. Following 1995, there was a bit of a rut with the TFC Academy development, as only one player born in 96 or 97 made the first team, and that was Jordan Hamilton. Jay Hams made 66 appearances for Toronto FC between 2014 and 2019, scoring 15 goals in all competitions, which is a record by a Toronto FC Academy graduate. In 2019, he was traded to the Columbus Crew for Patrick Mullins, where he made 6 appearances between the remainder of the 2019 and 2020 seasons. Following the 2020 season, he was let go by the Crew, and he signed a USL Championship contract with the Indy 11 for the 2021 campaign. Hamilton has made 2 appearances for the Canadian men's national team, but has not appeared for them since 2016. Moving on to the 1998-born graduates. Aiden Daniels played 1 game for Toronto FC in 2018 before moving to the Ottawa Fury for the 2019 season. Following the folding of the Fury, at the end of the 2019 season, Daniels stayed in the USL Championship, first for the Colorado Switchbacks and now for the OKC Energy. Malik Johnson played in 2 games for Toronto FC, both in the Canadian Championship, one in 2016 and one in 2018. Since the 2019 season, he has played in the USL Championship, first for the Tampa Bay Rowdies in 2019 and 2020, and now for the Real Monarchs. Liam Fraser, a man that we all know, and we know how much I've talked about him on this channel, has made 39 appearances for Toronto FC since the 2018 season. However, at the start of this season, just a little over a week ago, he was loaned out to the Columbus Crew for the remainder of the 2021 season. And with his contract running out at the end of the season, it seems like his time at Toronto FC has come to an end. Fraser has made 4 appearances for the Canadian men's national team, the last coming in 2020. The only TFC Academy graduate born in the same year as me, 1999, Jacob Schaffelberg has to date made 25 appearances for the Toronto FC first team, scoring his first goal last weekend against New York City FC. Schaffelberg has made 1 appearance for the Canadian men's national team coming in the 2020 January friendly camp. 2000 was a very fruitful year for the TFC Academy, as it has churned out 5 players who have signed first-team contracts for TFC. The first of them being Ayo Akinola, who since 2018 has made 39 appearances for TFC, scoring 11 goals, which puts him second amongst TFC Academy graduates in the goals department. A dual Canadian-American citizen, Akinola has made 1 friendly appearance for the US men's national team in the fall of 2020, where he scored. Julian Dunn made 2 appearances for Toronto FC in the 2018 season. For the 2020 campaign, he was loaned out to Valor FC in the Canadian Premier League, where he was nominated for the CPL Under-21 Player of the Year award. Noble Okello has made 8 appearances for TFC since 2019. Following the 2020 MLS season, he spent 2020-2021 season on loan with HB Kogi in the Danish second division. Technically, the league is called the Danish first division, but it's the second tier of Danish football, so, you know, it's kind of a little confusing. But there he played 14 games and scored 1 goal. He also made 2 appearances for the Canadian national team in 2020, as well as being called up for the 2019 Gold Cup, where he unfortunately did not play, but was a part of the 23-man roster. Rocco Romeo was signed to Toronto FC in 2020, however he is yet to make an appearance for the first team. He is currently out on loan with HB Kogi. Luke Singh, the story that we probably all know to start this season, was signed prior to the first Champions League game in his club Lyon to a short-term contract. Zavaleta got hurt in that game, so in the second game, after making only a cameo appearance at the end of game 1, was signed to another short-term contract where he started for Toronto FC and was excellent and was a crucial part of that huge win in the round of 16 this year to get Toronto FC on to the quarterfinals. That performance earned Singh a proper first-team contract, where he has now played another 2 games for TFC, bringing the total up to 4, and scored in his MLS debut. 3 players born in 2002 have already made the Toronto FC first team. Aiden Nelson has made 10 appearances for TFC starting in the 2020 season, and has also made 3 appearances for the Canadian national team, scoring 1 goal. Jordan Peruksa was a fresh signing for Toronto FC at the start of this season, playing in 2 games to start the year. Ralph Prezo was signed to the first team late in the 2020 season and has been a revelation in the center midfield, making 13 appearances already in his short TFC career. And the youngest player currently on Toronto FC and the youngest player to have signed a Toronto FC first team contract, born in 2004, currently 16-year-old Jakeel Marshall-Rutty. Signing last year in the 2020 season at the age of 15, Marshall-Rutty is the youngest player ever to sign a first-team contract for Toronto FC. He made 1 appearance last year for TFC in a blowout loss to the Philadelphia Union, and currently has made 2 appearances in MLS already this young season. So those are the 29 players who have graduated from the Toronto FC Academy, signing contracts with the first team. Some notable stats about the performances of Academy players for Toronto FC. Academy players have to date made a total of 669 appearances for the Toronto FC first team, scoring 42 goals. In addition, they have made a total of 74 appearances for the Canadian men's national team, only scoring 4 goals. And interestingly, no Toronto FC Academy graduate has scored more than 1 goal for the Canadian national team, with the 4 goals being evenly split between Liam Fraser, Daniil Henry, Jay Chapman, and Jaden Nelson. However, these players are not the full impact of the Toronto FC Academy on the landscape of Canadian soccer. There are plenty of players who played part of their youth careers in the TFC Academy and then either moved on to other places or never signed a first-team contract for TFC and then developed more later on in their life and became full first-team players elsewhere. Some notable players who spend at least some time in the Toronto FC Academy are Ricardo Ferreira, Mark-Anthony Kaye, Russell Tybert, Kevin Ailman, Ryan Raposo, Tristan Borges, and a big one as he just made his first Premier League appearance, Theo Corbeanu. So overall, I think the jury is still out for the Toronto FC Academy. They have had some fumbles, but they also have produced some pretty solid contributors in MLS and some pretty solid contributors for the Canadian national team. I think now we're seeing a much higher influx of talent, as we now have kids who are young enough that the academy has been around for pretty much their whole developmental stage. They were able to get into the TFC Academy at the youngest possible age that they were able to. Some of the earlier guys who were signed had played only like a year or 2 in the TFC Academy because that's how long it had existed for before they signed their first team contracts. But we have yet to develop a proper superstar out of the TFC Academy. But with the new young group of guys like Akinola, like Prezo, like Marshall-Rutty, I'm really liking the direction that the Toronto FC Academy signings are going. I think going forward, we're going to see less signings of guys who don't really play, less Oscar Cordons, less Manny Apariccios, less Sergio Camargos, and more players like Ralph Prezo, like Jaden Nelson, like Jacob Schaffelberg, who are regularly getting into the Toronto FC first team and regularly making an impact. So let me know, has the Toronto FC Academy been a success, a failure, or just kind of meh throughout the first 13 years of its existence? And as always, if you like this video, hit like. If you want to see more of my stuff, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Link is down below in the description. And I will see you next time.